Meta has they've been working on a device that can read your brain thoughts. Like it can actually translate your brain waves into words and images. So that can't go bad, can it?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No. What else could we do? No, dude. I think whatever they're creating in this realm, in the physical realm, they're creating in the ethereal realm, which is right outside the physical, right? It's
Hmm.
kind of like the upside down.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep.
And then you have the astral realm, which is outside of the ethereal. It's not the same. Some people think astral and ethereal are the same. It's not.
Right.
The astral realm is outside the ethereal realm, and that's where like time doesn't exist. There's non-physical entities, and then outside of that, you have your mental,
Right.
right? Like if a collective consciousness was real, that has more power than anything.
Oh yeah. Well, I think that's what a lot of these things that the tech people are building. It's to monopolize the collective consciousness. You think about all the industrial revolutions we've been through. It was for the labor movement, then the machine age, all this stuff. I think the last real frontier is owning every part of your brain. Like privacy will disappear. And if Meta has their way, this like brain reading device will eventually be something you probably can't escape. Honestly,
Do you think they're going to give us a choice to do it, or do you think that like is it going to be forced upon us?
there'll be different. I think this is just my theory. I think there'll be different methods. Like you can sign up for the Neuralink and you can get that or whatever brand you want to go with. Maybe there's a different designer brand of brain chip you might want. But so you'll do that, and then the option will be like you can do it, but then you probably won't be a part of modern society anymore because everyone's doing it. Kind of like how we all have smartphones today. But I really do think that at some point they'll be able to. Well, they already are now. Like things like Palantir are really good at helping make predictive policing a thing. So they're kind of already in people's brains, thinking like, what are they going to do? Are they going to make a crime? Like in that movie from I forget the name of that movie now. Someone in the chat will probably know. But like they're able to predict crime, right? So yeah, you can sign up for the Neuralink and stuff, but a lot of these things that they're creating,
Minority Report.
Minority Report, thank you. They are going to be able to just understand you without even putting their fingers in your brain. Just like
And
how Google right now understands the things you're looking at, it knows the things you want to buy.
you're right.
Imagine the evolution of that. It's going to get way weird and dystopian really
Just by
quick.
talking about it, dude. Like me and my
Yep.
wife have like we'll be talking about something. She's just like, this can't be real. Look what Google ads are showing me. But
Right.
it's also you have to look at it this way. Like, what if their AI tech becomes so powerful and involved in our consciousness that they can then create things and get us to do it without even us having to get a brain chip.
And what you said is that is the future of MK Ultra. It's like
Dude, that's like MK Ultra, like 8.0. I don't know
yes,
how many
yes, because like
versions there are,
their
but
dream
yeah,
is to have
that's
us
pretty
MK
up there,
Ultra
man.
ourselves. They want us to do it to ourselves, and we are. As a society, we are already brainwashed. We're brainwashing ourselves. So yeah, I think that's what's going on. I think that's the future. It's like super dystopian. But it's like I'm not like I'm not anti all technology. I'm just anti the way it's going to these things that we've got to bring us so-called luxury and modernity to liberate us from our so-called shortcomings as humans will eventually enslave us. And that's the future of all of these machines that they're building. We see it
Hmm.
with social media right now in a lot of ways, and how like they sell it to us as you have all these things at your fingertips. It's great for a lot of reasons. We can do this. It's awesome. But then they'll say, once AI takes over, or once you have a brain chip, once you have access to all this information, it'll make you smart. It'll make you better. But that hasn't been the case, with everything we have now. People in large have gotten dumber and more isolated.
Dude. Yeah, I mean, they're letting like people with less than 80 IQ buy flamethrowers, and like all it's like, why are you giving some of this technology? It's just like when going back to the knowledge,
Yeah.
not everyone, uh, I don't think could handle. some of this knowledge, dude.
Yeah.
And I know I've gone off on a few tangents. I think you asked me one thing, and I just started talking about 20
No,
different
it's
things.
perfect.
But that's usually how it works sometimes with me, man. But I have a show called Elohim Etymology,
Mm.
where me and because I have gray pilled, which is like my brand or whatever.
Yep.
It's what I do all my deep dives and interviews under. Um, but then I have sound science that I do with the Paranoid American. Shout out Thomas.
Yep.
I have Elohim etymology that I do with my co-host Adrian, who is a dude. He's a he's a film editor. He's a writer. He's a boxer and a trainer. Shout out Adrian, where we kind of look at these ancient stories and we go throughout. We focus on one deity, and we kind of go over like each civilization and culture, being like, okay, who was this person venerated as during this time? Who was he? And the connections to these others. And when you get to the Sumerian pantheon, you start there, it all makes sense. If you go down, they're having kids, they're having these demigod kids, you know. And so that's like my favorite show. I also have a show called Sunday Chaos that I do with my buddy Conspiracy Extremist. It's like my degenerate news and culture show that we do
Sick.
every other Sunday. And I have Already Dead as well that
Oh
I
yeah.
do. I'm sure yeah, with Jose
Jose.
and Austin.
Yep. Love those dudes.
Yeah, love them, love them. But yeah, the Elohim etymology for me, man, is like my favorite probably, just because of how much I've learned doing it. Me and Adrian both. It's fascinating, dude. And
So
so, but like I was saying earlier, people take these stories with a grain of salt and, leave it up to your own interpretation. Don't
right.
take everything I say at 100%.
Right.
Question all of it. I expect you to. I expect pushback, man. Here's the thing is like I welcome it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And I'm not one to just start, getting mad at somebody or like, dude, I try to have conversations with some people that leave comments on some of my stuff, but I don't know if they're there to have a conversation. I think they're just there to tell me
Uh-huh.
how wrong
How
I
you're-
am and
how
then
wrong.
scurry off into the
Yeah.
night.
No, I think it's good to have that pushback because it should sharpen your own, point of view and all your research. So, you never know what you're going to hear that's going to make you do more research or shift a certain way or make you find a better way to debate that point, right? Not that you have to change your point. That's why all this is so good, to share all this stuff and just see, what you learn from that. Because it's bottomless, all this information. There's it's a giant oblivion of information that we're like
Yeah.
just trudging through to understand. And before I let you go, in that Elohim show, do you do stuff like looking at Moloch and stuff like that?
We kind of look at Moloch, dude. I've interpreted Moloch as a place.
Oh, interesting. Tell me about that.
Um, well, you've seen the Bohemian Grove, not Brohemian Grove.
Yeah,
There-
yeah.
I don't think they were sacrificing to Moloch.
I hope not.
The Bohemian Grove tapes that Alex Jones got.
Oh, yeah.
They say in their ceremony that they're having, the mock sacrifice or whatever, they say in Moloch, right?
Right.
They say like lay me down in Moloch or something. They're not talking about a deity. They're talking about a place.
That's interesting.
Um,
Was-
Mol. I'm sorry. What's up?
in the Bible, they make it sound like it's a deity, right? Like it's like they're sacrificing to an evil force.
That's also what I think it could be. Another egregore, perhaps, or just a spirit. Well, if it's a spiritual entity, then I mean it has to exist physically on some other plane.
Right. Right.
And
maybe these entities like possess a place, like the way we see like a haunted house or something. Like sometimes I feel like you go to a place that's had a lot of bloodshed, it feels like it's possessed by something,
Dude, yeah, there was a shooting at some preschool or something happened, and it was called Mount Nebo.
I don't know about that.
Nebo is the son of Bel.
Okay.
Bel Marduk, is the Azazel figure
Okay.
in the Book of Enoch, a son of Samael, right? In these ancient stories, he is one of the main Satans, I think, because the Satan means adversary. There's many different Satans. It just really depends on which one is being worshipped, right?
Right.
But yeah, dude, Nebo is his son, Nabu. Yeah, I mean the name, right? The name. There's no. You can't tell me that that's not the same
Wow.
deity.
So you think
You
like the
you know.
place had an effect on the shooting, and that's why it happened?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's crazy.
absolutely.
That's crazy.
Intention behind something, man.
Yeah, it's crazy when you start to see those kind of connections everywhere. It can almost drive
You
you
do.
crazy but it happens all the time.
It can drive you crazy, man. But like, I think it's important to notice some of this stuff to keep, like you said, to protect our children,
Yeah. Yep.
protect
Yep.
our children, and just because you research the occult, it doesn't make you an occultist.
That's a good tagline.
I mean, it's plain and simple.
Right.
Just because research alchemy or this or that doesn't make you an alchemist. Some
Right.
people may say like, well, the fact that you had the intention to learn about it makes you like an aspiring alchemist, or makes you an acolyte of some mystery school, or makes you a what's it called in Freemasonry, the apprentice,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? And I'm just like, okay, whatever. I'm not over here calling somebody my worshipful master. So
Right. I think
I'm
it's
good,
important. I think it's important to know that stuff because you want to know what you're up against, you know. And like you were saying earlier about intention, it's one thing to just understand this stuff. If you start going out and willingly sacrificing yourself to these things or partaking in weird rituals, that's a whole other story. But it's good to know this stuff because it's lurking around every corner.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, no, I think, it's better to be prepared than not be prepared.
100%. Well, that's a good place to end, dude. Where can people
Hell yeah.
find you online?
Guys, I'm on X at GrayPilledPod. I'm on Instagram, GrayPilled_podcast. I post there sometimes. Rumble, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and I'm on Patreon, patreon.com/GrayPilledPodcast. My Elohim etymologies, they're released there for the first week or two before they're dropped to the public. I actually do Patreon only content as well. My esoteric book reviews, where we dive into stuff we just looked at. I'll go ahead and people peek. Initiates of the Flame
Sweet.
and Melchizedek and the Mystery of Fire, kind of diving into the meaning behind what's being said in some of these books. We go over Manly P. Hall and Steiner books and whatnot. That's Patreon only content, as well as like a link to the Discord. You'll get free stickers. I'm about to have stickers finally for the first time that I'm getting printed. So there's a lot of perks to the Patreon. It's also a good way to support the show and keep me streaming more.
Sick.
But yeah, man.
That's awesome,
Also
dude.
go to paranoidamerican.com
Yeah.
/discount/graypilled, and you can get 10% off.
That's rad. And I'm going to find a way to, I want to do another sound science with you guys.
Absolutely, dude. I'd love to have you on Grey Pilled
Yeah.
one night just
Yeah.
to talk to you about like how you got into all this stuff and
Yeah, dude,
your
I'd love it.
beginnings and whatnot,
Let's
man.
do it. Yeah, hit me up, dude. I love it. Thanks for coming on, dude. That was fun.
Right on.